What's going on, fam, and welcome to episode 8 of the Modern Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle, and on this podcast, we talk about mindset talks for men chasing greatness, discipline, growth, and an all-around better version of themselves. So if that's you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. On today's episode, I have Mr. Scott Graham. Scott is an author of over 31 books and counting. He's a career coach, a business coach, and a psychedelic support coach. You can find out more about what all that means in this episode. But we're jumping into the following: the Azimuth Mindset, discipline that endures, engagement over surrender, a little bit of life and family, and of course, the 5 rapid-fire questions. At the end, Scott's going to tell you what he's been up to, where you can find his work, and how you can engage with him. But for right now, this is episode 8 of the Modern Mentality Podcast with Mr. Scott Graham. Alright, so today's guest is Scott Graham. Is it Graham or Graham? I'm sorry.
Graham.
Alright.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't care.
All good. Alright, so we've got Scott Graham. He is an author of 31 books and counting. He's a career coach, a business coach, and a psychedelic support coach. He's based in Boston, and he helps people find their true azimuth, which is their unique life direction rooted in purpose, meaning, and authenticity. Outside of coaching, he runs a non-profit farm animal rescue, competes in Tough Mudders, practices Tai Chi and meditation, and volunteers as a firefighter and EMT instructor. I hope I covered some good stuff.
You did. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. So, welcome to the podcast. And again, thank you very much for taking time out of your day.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Alrighty. So, with the Azimuth Mindset, first question I have is, what does it mean to you, and how is it different from the True North? I did read a little bit on some, but I just wanted to get your own words.
Yeah, so when I was looking to name my business 20 some years ago, actually it'll be 20 years in March that I've been working as a coach.
Okay.
And when I was looking to name the business, I was going to call it True North.
Okay.
And somebody pointed out that was like really arrogant. Because that assumes that there's just one direction for every single person.
Mm-hmm.
And azimuth refers to all the points on the compass. So a direction of 270 degrees is considered 270 azimuth. And so the focus is to follow your true azimuth and adjust for the magnetic pulls in your life. And there's lots of them. It could be your religion, could be your upbringing, could be your parents, could be your school. Lots of things that pull you away from your true azimuth.
Okay.
Just like a real compass.
Yeah, no, exactly. So how can someone say, I guess, course correct when life forces them off of that type of path, I guess?
Well, first you have to know what those magnetic pulls are, and you have to acknowledge them. So that means you have to be honest. And there are a lot of people out there that don't acknowledge those magnetic pulls. There are a lot of people that just don't connect to those things. I mean, a great example is like a gay man who is, or a gay or a lesbian who is struggling with their own identity, but their magnetic pull is that, from some religious standpoint, that they're sinners and they're bound for hell. And so until they connect that is something that's pulling them off, and that's bullshit, that's not who they are, that's going to be a struggle. And then the second thing you need to know is really and truly what you want, what your vision is in your life. And there are a lot of people that are following the vision of their parents, their vision of their spouse, their vision of their community, and not their true vision. So you have to know that. And there are some people that don't even have a vision. They have been so focused on, I don't know, slogging and slogging and slogging that you ask them, what's the purpose of your life? And they're like, I don't know. It's like the purpose of their life is to make a living, watch TV, buy shit, and and die.
Yeah, right. It's like very different from a lot of people,
Right. There are a lot of people out there, even people this is not a piece that is like any type of economic class barrier. I mean, there are people who, haven't finished high school who have a better vision than people who have master's degrees.
Yeah, I know. It's really crazy. And I feel like for myself at least, with a younger generation, I feel like they're a lot more open to just creativity and basically like the opposite of what you were just saying, which is like you can either do the stereotypical like go to school, get a degree, and then work a 9 to 5, something like that, or they choose to do basically opposite of that.
Right.
And yeah, it's just it to me it's fascinating, just how different that can be. So I wanted
I know,
to
I know you're going to have some rapid fire questions for me, so I got a rapid fire question for you.
go ahead.
What's your vision?
My vision right now is to eventually open up my own gym for personal training.
Why?
Why? Because of how much it just changed my own life. At first, I started training because of a heartbreak from a girl, and then from there, it transitioned to really gaining more confidence in my own life and realizing I A, don't need to rely on someone else to make me happy, and B, as long as I just focus on myself and what truly makes me feel good and just productive, that is what I truly like. And then on top of it, just helping people and learning their stories and really seeing what they can accomplish when they put their mind to it, like in the gym floor, basically, and obviously like outside of life, or sorry, not outside of life, outside of the gym. But I hope that kind of answers your question.
That did. And so, for you people listening or watching this, did you see how he answered that question? That's how you know you have a vision. If you see, he didn't pause, he didn't and he wasn't hesitant. He didn't go, well, I guess maybe it's that he knows what it is. And if you have a vision like he has a vision solidified in your mind, you're going to be unstoppable. Unstoppable.
Well, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for that because I have been basically been practicing when someone asks me that question, and I've noticed that over the last couple of years, I've really started with that, and this was one of like the true times where, like you said, I didn't stutter, said it with confidence and all that. So I just want to take time to say thank you for saying that because that just means that I'm growing with that. So thank you,
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
So I also wanted to ask, just last thing on this, when and where did you personally realize this for yourself? I guess. So right back at you.
So for me, it actually came about in 1984. I was doing an outward bound course. I ended up being an outward bound instructor. Do you know what an outward bound? Do you know what outward bound is?
No, not off the top of my head. I not off the top of my head. No.
People think like hoods in the woods or something like that. And I was not a hood, and it wasn't the woods. I was in the Florida Everglades, and it
Mm.
was an adult 9-day canoeing course. And Outward Bound puts people in difficult situations and puts and does that to help people discover that there's more to themselves than they know.
Mm.
And we were consistently put in difficult situations and had to sleep in the canoes, had all kinds of different strategies that Outward Bound did. I actually ended up becoming an Outward Bound instructor for many years.
Okay.
At one point, it so inspired me. One of the things we did on that, I still have this. This was 1984. Like I was like a little kid, and I wasn't a little kid. I was in my 20s. But anyway, we wrote down like the top 20 goals we wanted to make in our life with pen and paper.
Woo.
Now, you don't even know what pens and paper are.
Right.
But at that time, it was pen and paper, and because of that, it's lasted. And we had to after we did the top 20 goals, they had us identify the top five, and then identify the top one from that. I remember doing that on one starry evening in the Everglades, and I still have that, and I'm still following that path.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, on your video on your website, I watched the whole thing, and we have a lot in common from you living in the New England area. I grew up in New England, and then I haven't been to the Everglades, but you said you live in Tampa. You used to live in Tampa, Florida. I live right outside of Tampa. I'm in Riverview. I don't
Oh
know.
my God, I've actually lived in Brandon, which is
Okay.
right next to
Yep,
Riverview.
that's where my parents live. They actually live in Valrico.
Oh,
So, small world right there. That's awesome. Awesome. So, perfect. Thank you for your answer and your mindset
you're
with
welcome.
that. I think that's phenomenal. I want to shift gears really quick. So, discipline that endures. That's kind of the topic for this little thing. You live an incredibly active life, right? So, from firefighting to tai chi to farm rescue, writing your books, all these different things. What systems or rituals do you have across all of these areas, either like disciplines or anything like that? I like to kind of gather this from people to see where their mindset goes.
I have none. I actually have struggled with this, Kyle. I got to tell
Interesting.
you, it's because you talk about, following your true azimuth for years, for years. I'm not kidding. Up until like last year,
Hmm.
I was trying to have, I think it's a myth, but maybe it's not a myth. Maybe you do this, Kyle. There's this myth out there of like successful people, and it kind of goes like this. They wake up. I'll do it as if I'm a successful person. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day. I jump out of bed and quickly take a 10-minute freezing cold shower. Then I do 500 push-ups. Then I read the entire New York Times. Then I squeeze kumquats and green lettuce into a juice drink that I drink. Then I head to the gym.
Yeah.
Then I read my meaningful thing from this Power of blah, 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 blah book. Then I come back in and I do 20 minutes of meditation, work on my to-do list, and then I'm ready to start my day.
Yeah, right.
Right? You know what I mean? You hear
Yeah.
these things, right? This is what I do. Another myth out there for writers that you're supposed to write an hour every day. I failed at that. I can't tell you how much I failed at that. Like capital F plus 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 failed at that. Never could do it. Struggled with it. Unfinished books. And then I had taken the Myers-Briggs many years ago and really hadn't paid attention to it. I took it again, and it really shed some light about my focus and my endurance. And what's true is that when I am focused on something, I'm like a dog with a bone.
Mm,
Like I can't, I'm really, really, really focused. So that has become my habit.
okay.
When I feel like writing,
Hmm.
I fucking write
Right.
and I write at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm obsessed about it and I'm eating Oreos and drinking beer and not really, and I'm writing and I'm not taking a shower and it's all over the place. And then I end up with something really good to work from
Okay.
versus a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And then if suddenly I lose the passion for writing,
Hmm.
I set it down and I'm like, I'll pick it up whenever I feel like it again. And I
Okay.
focus on something else. And since I've started that, I've last year I wrote 5 books.
That's awesome.
Like, so there's this piece about following your own path and not just doing what somebody else says the good recipe is to do. I threw
I
the
totally agree.
yeah.
It's so funny you mentioned that because that's what I started to do end of last year, and basically for the start of this year. Because for myself, I always made a goal to just be very consistent with content creation, right? And even when the heavy motivation or the heavy inspiration, whatever you'd like to call it, the fire under your ass, whatever, spark, whenever that went away, I was like, okay, so this went away, but I still know that I need to essentially get this done, right? I just found that pushing myself mentally to still get it done, not the initial, but definitely like consistently doing that, it ended up burning me out. So when you say that you stopped and basically it resulted in you finishing 5 books, Like that's awesome. And I've managed to do the same thing where it's like take a step back when you're not fully feeling it, and just the quality that comes from that when you're ready to go back, I just feel like is so much better. And
Absolutely.
it's crazy.
Absolutely. Look at how it's changed with syndicated, not syndicated, but commercial level television shows.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, you used to have a whole season. In the 90s, you had a whole season, right? 26 episodes, and it had to be 26. And there it needed to go. And then the next season started in the next fall or the next spring. You had reruns, and then everything geared up again at the same date, at the same time. Everything started again. And look at it now. Like some TV shows are seven. What did I was watching? A Night in the Seven Kingdoms. It's 7 episodes long for season one, and they're looking at changing the name to the Night of the Nine Kingdoms for season two. Like and they who knows when the hell that's going to come out.
Right.
It's whatever you see all these episodes, see the Reacher episodes, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
are 8, some are 6. So
Mm-hmm.
it might be a year between, might be this, might be that. And they're driven to put out those Reacher episodes because those are big money for Amazon,
I
right?
know, and I wish they would make more, because I feel like you get so glued to them, and then before you know it, it's
It's
like
gone.
okay, and then you don't get anything until like the following year. It's like what are you doing?
Or years, could be
Yeah, or years
years.
exactly. Yep, yep. Yeah, that's wow. It's funny that you put it that way. So I'm very curious about this next one. I find it very fascinating, and I would love some more info on it. So you spent 262 days in silent meditation. Is that actually
Not all at
correct?
once, not all at once.
No, okay, okay.
Well,
And
there you go.
then,
You thought that was all at once, didn't you?
uh, I guess so. Not gonna lie. Hey, you never know. You never know. And then the other one was 1,610 nights outside sleeping.
I know. I figured that. I want to know how I figured that out, right? Maybe. Well, I
Mm,
hiked the Appalachian Trail, and
okay.
so I had these big things to build from. I hiked the Appalachian Trail. I hiked the Long Trail in Vermont twice. I hiked the GR20 in Corsica. I worked for Outward Bound for 4 or 5 years, and that was 3 week courses in the woods, sleeping on the ground
Right,
for
right.
6 months a year, and I just like added all those up on the calculator on what they
Yeah.
could be, threw a little bit here and there, and that's how I ended up yeah, like, coming up with that number. And the same thing was very true with the meditation. I've done 10 to 14 days solid meditation courses. And a lot of times when you go to return to a meditation place, they ask you, how many courses have you done? Who did you do them with? That type of stuff. So I learned early on in the 90s to keep track of who I did the course with, where I did the course, what the dates of the course were. So I kind of had a meditation uh, resume, and I just added up all those also to get to that. I'm not counting minute by minute. These are solid days. When you go away for a Vipassana course, which you can do these courses all over the country and all over the world, and it is a good 10 solid days of silence
Oh
and
wow.
meditation, morning to evening.
Interesting. That is very interesting. So my following question to that is, what did that teach you about mental and spiritual discipline?
Man,
Because
with
I'm sure you
it
learned a
taught me
lot.
it really showed me, and this is why I ended up doing it. I had a friend who was twisting my arm, Jack, to do this. You should go, you should go, you should go. And I'm like, it's a cult, it's a cult, it's a cult. He's like, no, go, go, go. I'm like, no, 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 no. And so finally I went, and it was really, really difficult. But the results of doing that on the other side were profound. Like I was less reactive, like I was less agitated, like I was more balanced. I had a clearer sense of being in the present and not chasing after things or resisting things. It was profound. And that, Kyle, is the thing that a lot of people don't get about meditation. That's like the same thing. You're looking at opening up a gym. People think it'd be like somebody saying, "Yeah, well, I'm here just to, do curls." or I'm here just to do sit-ups. Well, you join a gym because you want to have better health, period.
Right.
What is that? What is that? Is that mental health? Is that physical health? Are we talking about just going to the gym and exercising and continuing to eat ring dings? Is it your aerobic health? Or is it balance? As you get older, balance becomes such a big thing besides strength and cardiovascular work. All of those pieces, everything you do at the gym has an outcome that you're looking for. They're going to live longer. You're not going to have a heart attack running up the stairs at work. You're going to be able to do, as you get older, what they call it the activities of daily living, ADLs, right? Those things are really important. And that's why you do those things. What you meditate for is not to get some sort of Zen experience in the moment. That's complete baloney that you're sold. Complete baloney. You meditate so that you have kind of discipline in your mind so that when these things hit you in your life, the difficulties, the great things, you don't get swept away with them like you used to before you started meditating.
Very interesting insight right there. I like it. I like it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So I have engagement over surrender. I know that could probably mean a bunch of different things, but when I say, huh?
It does.
So when I say engagement is the missing component, what does that mean?
So I wrote this book about psychedelics, talking
Yes.
about engagement, and there's a story. You'll love this as a trainer. You will
Yeah.
love this as a trainer. There's a story that I tap into that really exemplifies engagement. There is a runner. She's a world-class runner. She was running the Peachtree Classic, which is in Atlanta. It's a 10K, and she was way out in front. She was winning. She had trained. She had set world records, and as she was approaching the finish line, I don't know where her mind went. She lost her engagement in the race. She was following behind a motorcycle, a police motorcycle, making sure all the riffraff's out of the way while you're running down these roads. And there's the finish line. Nobody wants a picture of a motorcycle going to the finish line. So the motorcycle made a right-hand turn and went down this side street. She was winning the race. She was about to set another record. She totally followed the police motorcycle down this side street off the course. By the time she realized what had happened and she turned around and ran back out to get onto the road where the race was, she finished in third place.
Wow.
And that to me is a story about engagement. You can be the top of your class lifting weights. You can be the top of your class in meditation. You can be the top of your class in all kinds of areas. You can have a great marriage, but if you lose engagement in that marriage, you're going to go down the wrong path.
Okay. Okay, so I feel like that ties in perfect to my next question.
Oh, thank God.
Which is how does engagement relate to living a life with no regrets?
Yeah, so if you are fully engaged in what you're doing and you know where you want to go, you're not going to have any regrets. Like, think about the number of people that are out there that just don't step up to the plate and end up reaching their sometimes in their 60s, but lots of times in their 70s or 80s, and they look back at their life and they say, I wish I had done this sooner. How come I didn't do that? Damn, they have all of these things that they did, and the reason that they didn't do these things is because they were disengaged. They're looking for a job, and instead of getting out there and really pushing themselves outside of their comfort zone, they kind of take the safe and easy way, right? It's like telling somebody, you need to. I'll give you a great example. For me, I got injured last July on a tough mudder type thing.
Yeah.
I ended up with a triple femur fracture and ended up life flight to the hospital. It really was it was messy. It still is messy. I'm still in physical therapy, and it's 8 months later. And I was determined that this was not going to stop me. And so, I've already signed up for another race next summer.
Awesome.
And B, I'm working. If my physical therapist says to do X, I am doing X. In fact, when I go to see them, now we're spending most of our time, they're like doing massage and they're doing, passive stretching with me. It's like so great. I have a friend who also had a hip replacement. He's not getting any of that stuff from his physical therapist.
Oh, wow.
And and I know why, because when he's not in physical therapy, he's not doing the exercises they told him to do. So
Hmm.
he's only the reason he's going to physical therapy is because there's a person there telling him to do the exercises. That's what he's getting. It's the same thing when you have a gym with some people who go to the gym,
Hmm.
right?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
they're not doing the things outside of that stuff. They know I'm doing the outside that stuff, so they're not going to ask me to, do more leg lifts or this thing because they know I already did it in the morning, and they're going to focus on these other things.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, and people live their whole lives that way without following through with what they know they need to do.
Yep, I've found, especially being a trainer, that's the hardest thing is getting people to want to do it rather than, you know, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
like, like it's crazy. It's just because nobody wants to sweat. Nobody wants to like just move their body around, and to me, I just don't understand that because like when you talk about health and just anything like that, like it's always just equal to usually living longer, living happier, healthier, stuff like that, and people just always just apparently don't want that.
Right. Well, and so Kyle, we're back to the piece that we talked about earlier, which is what's your vision and what's the path that you're following, right? What are you just slogging it out? I don't get it, right?
Right.
Like you don't have to tell me twice to do this. I got shit to do. I'm gonna get on it. Uh,
Exactly.
uh, and man, I know someone that has been in been in like mental therapy for years now, trying to figure out how to get a divorce, and he's still not divorced. Years, right? Years. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, at that point, I feel like you're just avoiding it.
yeah. So we avoid all those things. We don't exercise because we're afraid that it's going to confirm that we're fat or this or that or all kinds of other stuff. Where all these fears get in our way because there's not a vision to overpower it.
Exactly, exactly. And people just need to find what that is, and I feel like the main struggle with that is the timing of when timing and where they find that basically, as if like you just go on YouTube and boom, you see something, hear something like that. So yeah, I agree. um Before I ask you these rapid fire questions, because I know we got about 5-ish more minutes.
Okay. Wow, it's going by fast.
Yeah, I know. Um, I have two things just on life and family. One is so with so many roles, author, coach, firefighter. You said you're a firefighter? Is that okay? Part time, full time doesn't really matter to me, but
Part-time. I'm a part-time go as
gotcha.
many as, yeah.
Well, thank you for your service. Absolutely, I forgot to mention that in the
That's
beginning,
okay.
but thank you for your
It's a
service.
long list of shit.
Hey,
It's not shit. It's not shit, but it's a long list of stuff.
no, there's nothing wrong with that. The longer the accomplishments and resume, the better. So that's awesome. But so anyway, author, coach, firefighter, caretaker. How do you stay grounded and present at home? Basically, blocking all the outside noise.
Oh, it's the Vipassana and Anapana practice that I have.
Okay.
That I got from all those meditation courses. And so I will sit down and I will focus on my breathing and I will focus on my body sensations
Mm,
and everything else goes away. Everything else goes away. And at the same time, that's training for when all these other things happen to not go off the deep end. One of the things that's true, this is a piece that some people really have trouble with, is that I fail a lot. And I have no trouble saying I mean, I failed a lot last week. I was doing stuff and I would tell myself, man, I was a failure last week. And there are these people that are like, these squishy, like, I don't know, new age coachy woachy felt people that are like, oh, we're all not failures. We're all manners of the creator, and some other bullshit like that can't stand the word failure. I'm like, I failed. It's a fact. I'm not like shooting myself, but if I'm gonna count my successes, I'm also gonna count my failures, and I'm gonna look at both. I'm not gonna like maximize my successes to somehow boost some ego up and minimize my failures. Like that doesn't serve you.
Right.
And so it's about balance, and that meditation keeps me balanced in the face of successes and problems.
Gotcha. It's honestly beautiful. I'd love to hear that. So what's one core value or lesson that you would want to pass down to the next generation? I mean, you're probably currently doing that, but I'm just saying one thing that you would want to pass down so they can find their own true azimuth.
Life is not about being happy. That's total myth that we're sold, and nothing you can buy, do, have, or anything is going to make you happy. Life is about having equanimity, and equanimity is the how we are in the face of how life is. The truth of life is that lots of good things happen, but the other truth of life is that we're all going to get old, fall apart, decay, die, lose everything that we have. That's the truth.
Mm,
And if we're only focused on the good stuff that we're chasing and not trying to have balance with this stuff, trying to have happiness, there's no room for the other half of life, which is all the misery that comes along.
gotcha. Alrighty. All right. So I got some interesting rapid fire questions for you. They're kind of all over the place. Um,
All
I
right,
hope
I'm
you,
ready. I
hope
feel
you
like I'm
find.
on Jeopardy or something like
Yeah,
that.
I hope you find them amusing. So, first one, what is one lesson the farm animals have taught you about humans?
That don't let that humans think they're in control, but they're really not, because those animals are definitely in control, especially the smaller ones.
Yep, because they're just adorable, or they're just a pain in the ass, and you have to require more attention.
That's it, both.
Gotcha. All right, if you were given a billboard in Times Square, what 5 words would go on it?
Oh my gosh. Love everyone. Let's see. Love everyone because it matters.
Okay, I like it. If true azimuth were a tattoo on your arm, it doesn't have to be on your arm, but if it were a tattoo, in your own words, what would it look like? It could be a symbol. It could literally be anything. It could literally be those 2 words. I'm just
Oh, I
curious.
have a tattoo on my arm. I'll show you that. Look,
Yeah, beautiful. Let me
don't you
see.
see that? Can you see that? Here we go.
Boom.
That is the Wong Baker pain rating scale that you see in the doctor's office. And it's meant to be so that when someone's in pain, you go to them and you can say, where are you at? Point. I can hold my arm right out in front of them. It's my left arm, so I can put it right and I can use it as a visual aid. It's on the
Yeah,
inside, not the outside, because it's meant to be used, not to be shown off. And it's about serving others.
that is so unique. I don't think I've ever seen a tattoo like that
And
before.
they go crazy when I go to the hospital. They're like, "Is that the pain scale on your arm?" I'm like, "They did that when I got injured at the on the race, and I'm there in the emergency room with a dislocated hip and fractured
Oh
femur and
no.
so much pain." They're like, "How much pain are you in?" I'm like, "I'm in this much pain right
Right.
here.
This
It's
point.
not working."
That's so funny. How long did that take? Just out of curiosity.
It took about an hour to do, and it was really interesting. I have to tell you, this tattoo artist said to me, he said, he says it's going to be really difficult to do. I went to like 5 different ones, and 4 turned me down. The fifth said I could do it because I said I wanted to make sure that it's really like the scale. So all 6 of these circles are the exact same size. That's a hard thing to do. They're all in a row. They're not running up like this, right? And they all have the detail, just like the regular pain scale.
That's awesome.
Um, on the whole arm, on my whole width of the arm. He goes, you know, they're going to sag as you get older. I said, I don't care. Just do it anyway. But
I got you.
he did it, and then he didn't charge me at the very end of it. He said, "Thank you for your service." It was
That's
really
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
That was
that is
awesome.
awesome. So the last two I got really quick. What would your current definition of freedom be?
Paddleboarding
Oh, beautiful. I like that.
with my dogs.
Right, right. The two
With
dogs.
my
That's right.
dogs. Yes.
And then, because I've done a Tough Mudder and a Savage race before. I plan on doing more. Out of the 17 Tough Mudder events that you've done, which is your favorite and your least favorite, if you have a least favorite?
Um, I used to love to do, it was called the Rugged Maniac, and I did
Oh
those
yeah, yeah, yeah.
with my spouse. They were really fun, and then they went out of business. And so I really liked the shorter ones that had more I would call them playground things.
Okay,
Like
okay.
you weren't running through electricity, you were
Mm.
like jumping onto a bouncy house
Okay.
like that.
Gotcha.
Those were really fun. And you got muddy and you had fun. I've done like 4 of these races with my dogs.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Dogs that you've seen on them. And actually, we went down this one bouncy slide, and my one dog, Black Lab, ended up injuring his hip.
Oh my
Had
gosh.
had to have hip surgery, and they had to go in there and cut her hip. It cost a couple $1,000
Oof.
to take care of that. Nothing like my hip operation, which
Right.
with healthcare in the United States cost about $400,000. Thank God I had health insurance.
Holy crap. That is insane.
I
Well,
know.
so those were the rapid fire ones.
That's it. Oh, that was
Yeah, I
easy.
know. I only got a few minutes though, so I just want, not just me, but for the people, where can they find your work? And what are your current projects that you're working on, if you have any?
Yes, I you can just Google stock G Scott Graham, easy peasy. You'll see, and especially now with AI, it'll
Yeah.
pull like everything up all over the place that I'm working on. I'm working on promoting one of my books, which is called Living the Mangala Sutta, which is taking this thousands and thousands of year old discourse by the Buddha and turning it into a life design that you can turn your life around that's ethical, moral, grounded, and has a path. I'm putting that together. I'm working on finishing up a book on hiking the GR20 in Corsica, and I'm working on finishing up a book on how to navigate a relationship as a collaborator as opposed to a negotiator or making ultimatums.
Awesome. Sounds like
Yeah,
you got a lot of great things in the works. I can't wait to see them and share them for you, or help promote them
that'd
for
be
you.
great. That'd be great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much again, buddy. This was a phenomenal talk. I really hope we can do this again sometime in the near future.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well,
All
have a
right.
great rest of your day, okay?
I will. Bye.
Awesome. Bye bye.